Hi YouTube friends, I'm Heidi Villegas with Healing Harvest Homestead and the School of Botanical Arts and Sciences. And today I'm here to just have a little chat with you about natural antibiotics. Now, I'm not a medical doctor and I'm not giving any kind of medical advice here or any promise of cure, treatment, prevention, diagnosis, all of those things that herbalists have to say. I do think that there is a time and a place for medical and pharmaceutical prescription antibiotics. But as we know, antibiotics have been way overprescribed for many decades now, and there are now resistant strains. Some people call them super bacteria or whatever, but honestly, there are natural plants that have certain chemicals that are really helpful in supporting your body in fighting off these bad bacteria that want to harm us. So today we're going to talk about 10 of these beautiful plants that do have natural antibiotic capabilities. I was able to gather some of them here with me, and others I'm just going to talk about, and some do have essential oils that are related. So we're going to share a little bit about some of the essential oils that can be helpful too. So let's go ahead and get started. By the way, and if you're liking the topics that I share, please leave a comment below. And if you have other ideas or things you want me to talk about, go ahead and let me know in the comments as well. I read every single one of them and I reply as often as I can. So please leave comments. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and get started. The very first one that I'm going to talk about, I actually don't have it here. I'm in my clinic, in my shop and office down in town, and I don't have my culinary herbs or my garden growing down here, obviously. But the first herb is oregano. So oregano is very, very powerful. Many of you, it's one of those herbs that most people know about. It contains a chemical called carvacrol, and the essential oil can be helpful, as well as the infused oil, as well as just the plant itself. Oregano leaves in your food can really be helpful in supporting the body's health in general too. So with oregano, you want to take it orally by mouth whenever you have symptoms. That's the best way to take it. Now, this is not pertaining to the essential oil. I do not recommend you taking oregano essential oil internally. It's just too powerful. And if you are going to use it topically, please be sure to dilute it because it can burn your skin. It's a hot oil. And so as an aromatherapist who's trained, I don't recommend putting oregano essential oil on your skin or ingesting it. However, you can, like I said, infuse oregano plant in an olive oil and have a very powerful, internally usable herbal preparation. And you can also buy oregano oil from different places. Just be sure it is not the essential oil, okay? Now, the essential oil can be used topically if it's diluted well enough, and so that's something to keep in mind. So if you have like some kind of a topical skin infection or something along those lines, oregano diluted in oil can be very, very good. So I'm going to put this one over there and move on to number 2. So I was out in my garden today and I decided I've been looking at my Echinacea plants. I have a lot of them, and I'm really excited about working with them this year and upping an amount of Echinacea that I have available for people. I'm probably going to be putting it on my shop, which is Grace Garden Apothecary, just the tincture form. But anyway, Echinacea is an amazing plant. It's also known as coneflower. So the seed head forms a beautiful cone that you can, I don't know if you can see that. I'll put it in front of me like this because my shirt's lighter. But anyway, Echinacea is amazing. It boosts the immune system. It's really helpful and actually can destroy certain bacterial strains like Staphylococcus aureus is one of them. So Echinacea is one I just like to have around for a number of reasons. And it actually has another compound that's numbing, so it's really helpful for bacterial infections in your mouth or even topical use. So Echinacea is number 2 on my list. I love this plant. And by the way, the whole plant is usable from all the way from the roots all the way to the seeds. Flowers, leaves, stems, everything. So you can just chop this up and put it into some alcohol and make a beautiful tincture with it and really enjoy echinacea that way. So number 3 is thyme. Thyme leaf is exceptional in terms of it being an antibacterial helper or herb. And again, because my garden's not here and I didn't think to pick any this morning, I don't have any plant with me, but I do have the essential oil, and the essential oil can be very, very helpful and useful when diffused. Thyme contains a chemical called thymol. And if you're working with the essential oil, you need to understand that you've got to identify the highest chemical constituents in the oil, because some forms of thyme essential oil contain higher levels of linalool, which is calming and relaxing, but does not have the powerful antibacterial qualities. So the essential oil you want to look for is thyme, chemotype, thymol. And the scent of these is very different. So if you are working with a thyme that has a high chemotype of linalool, the scent is soft and rather relaxing. It's beautiful. If you are working with the thyme chemotype thymol, which is very medicinal smelling and very strong, you know you've got the right one. So basically, if your thyme essential oil smells bad, you've got the right one. So just a little tip about thyme. Thyme and thymol is much like oregano. A lot of overlapping benefits. And when you start getting sick, take that oregano, take that thyme, take your rosemary, take the sage, and you can make up a mint tea. These are all members of the mint family, by the way, the Lamiaceae family. But make up an herbal tea with these and start drinking it. And I have a neighbor who drinks thyme tea every single day, and he never gets sick, ever. So just a little tip there. I'm going to go ahead and set these essential oils over here. And we are going to move on to number 4, which is ginger. So the scientific community actually recognizes ginger as a natural antibiotic. There have been many, many studies on its efficiency and efficacy, and I really just love it. So I've got some dried cut and sifted ginger right here. It's in little bits. It's beautiful, very powerful and strong. You can use fresh ginger that you buy from the grocery store. You can grow it easily in a pot. And then you've got the essential oil, which is also useful. So there are many, many ways to take ginger. It's really helpful, honestly, too, for any kind of infection that you might have in your digestive system or your digestive tract. Ginger is one that you definitely want to keep on hand as a natural herbal antibiotic. I'm going to set these over here. On the list are the berberines. And berberines, that's actually a chemical. It's a class of chemical that is found in high amounts in certain plants. And berberines are amazing antibiotics. So I want to talk about a couple of the plants and just kind of have a quick discussion on berberine in general. Berberines are extremely powerful alkaloids found in certain plants. They generally will have a yellow overtone in the part of the plant that you would use. Typically, especially with Oregon grapefruit and goldenseal, it's the root, and you will see that they're yellow. But it destroys gram-positive bacteria, and that would include things like MRSA. So, you end up with a MRSA infection, grab your berberine, okay? So if you're in a survival situation and you suspect a terrible bacterial infection, I'd suggest always having your berberines handy. They're great for respiratory infections, primarily because it's very drying. Eye infections, I love using just a tea as a wash. And I've done this with my animals before when they get conjunctivitis or something, or humans too. Just rinse, wash the eye with the herb, and it really helps it go away quickly. Urinary tract infections as well. If you're ingesting the tea, the tea, remember, comes into contact or the tincture with the whole entire GI tract, and that also it includes the urinary tract is a different body system. But as your chemicals are filtered out through the urine, it comes into contact with the bladder and can definitely be helpful for UTIs, stomach ulcers as well. and also canker and mouth issues. I really love the berberine heavy plants. This is Oregon grapefruit. This is Mahonia aquifolium. As you can see, it's yellowish color here. I do have goldenseal. We planted some goldenseal actually last fall on top of our mountain, and it's doing pretty well. I've got to get up there and check on it though, because it is summertime and we're not getting the rain right now. I really want to make sure that it's okay. Yeah, it was started sprouting and doing really well, and super happy about that because goldenseal is very, very powerful. Another one is barberry. Barberry is another plant that might grow in your area or that you can grow yourself. So you want to make sure, especially if you are a person who's interested in the SHTF kinds of things, that you have access to some kind of berberine containing plant. Next up is lavender. And oops, I don't have my garden here, but I do have some lavender buds. And I just have to smell these. They smell so good. It's like instant relaxation, honestly. And when you are sick and your body is stressed, relaxing herbs are also helpful, but that's not why lavender is on the list. Lavender is really wonderful as a topical antiseptic. It's really helpful to use in conjunction with one of your berberine containing herbs. It helps with other topical infections, especially acne infections. If you've got acne that is exacerbated by bacteria, a lavender rinse 2 or 3 times a day, or a spritz, or the hydrosol can be very, very helpful. And lavender is wonderful with ear infections. You can actually just rub it around the ear and along the panicle of the ear, and that actually might help take care of that ear infection without having to go to the doctor and getting a prescription antibiotic. It's worth a try, right? All right, next up, I have a little bag of elderberry. This came out of my freezer. This elderberry I harvested late summer, early fall. The berries aren't ready right now around here. I know they're getting ripe in some places, but here in North Idaho, we don't tend to see berries until sometimes even into September. So I always keep elderberry on hand. It's not only is it an antibacterial, but it's an antiviral too. It really helps to boost the immune system. It is immunostimulating. And I just really love elderberry in terms of it being a helper as a natural antibiotic for the body, because what it does, it supports the body in that natural healing process, just as all of these herbs that I'm sharing with you do. And that's the difference actually between like herbal antibiotics and pharmaceutical antibiotics. Antibiotics, just think about the word for a moment. Anti means against, bio means life. So you're talking about an antibiotic in terms of pharmacy being anti-life. Well, herbs aren't really anti-life. None of these that I've showed you or that I will continue to share with you, I've got 2 more on the list, are anti-life. If anything, they're pro-life, and they actually tend to support your beautiful alive body in its natural healing processes. So that's what I really love about these. And yes, you can get these natural antibiotics that go after certain bacteria, and we'll talk about my last one I'm going to share is amazing also, like Echinacea is, and garlic and some of the others. But really wonderful in terms of just supporting the body. You're healing while you're taking care of your bacterial infection. It's pretty amazing if you ask me. All right, let's move on to number 9, and that would be garlic. Garlic is like this super herb. All right, it contains a chemical called allicin, and it's just incredibly amazing at killing bacteria that are bad for you. And it modulates the immune system as well. So while elderberry stimulates the immune system, which you want if your immune system is weakened, garlic actually modulates it, which means that it helps to balance it so that it's not overstimulated or understimulated. I recommend taking garlic every single day. And I do. It's one of the things that is in my food every day, and I also take the Keolic garlic, and I do that for natural hypertension support and management for myself. But garlic is a wonderful, wonderful antibacterial type of herb too. Next up, and I don't have garlic growing. I do happen to have an onion here that accidentally got into my bag when I was out weeding this morning. I pulled up an onion, so I thought I'd take it into the kitchen and use it tonight. Yeah, it ended up here in my work bag. But that's okay. All right. Oh, actually, I've got 2 more on the list. We're going to talk about 11 antibacterial herbs. So the next one is Usnea. Usnea is amazing. We got this when we were up in McCall about a month or so ago, and a storm had come through and knocked a lot of these pieces of bark off of some of the trees. And I have never seen Usnea this green. It's beautiful. It's healthy. You can see the white filament in here, which is an identifier for Usnea. But I just love this plant. I like to do a dual extraction of Usnea when I tincture it. So we work with both water and alcohol. And sometimes I'll actually do more than one infusion at a time. After the first batch is spent, I'll do another infusion as well, just to really make sure it's powerful. It is a lichen, and it's very, very tough and full of polysaccharides that are hard to break down. So in that case, that's why you want to work with a double infusion. But Usnea is great. You can also powder it and sprinkle it in things and ingest it that way. Usnea can help take care of strains of staph infections, so Staphylococcus, Streptococcus strains, Listeria, Clostridium, and there's a whole list of different yucky bacteria that Usnea can take care of for you. And then finally, the last one is clove. And I just looked in our herb room over here for clove buds, which we usually have on the shelf, and we didn't have any, but we do have lots of the essential oil. Clove contains a chemical called eugenol, and eugenol is amazing for being an antibacterial chemical as well, and can help you with your immune system stimulation and also just being a general antibacterial that I really love. So here you can see we've talked about oregano and thyme, and we've talked about clove and ginger, and we've talked about, these are like lavender. These are all very common plants. And then we've also talked about elderberry, which is becoming very, very mainstream in terms of people knowing about it. We've talked about Usnea. We've talked about coneflower or Echinacea, which grows wild in some places. So we've covered 11 natural antibiotic herbs, and we've talked a little bit about how they work. Now, I didn't go deeply into how they work. That talk would be like, geez, 3 days long, to be honest. That's what we talk. That's the kind of thing we tend to talk about inside my membership, the Confident Herbalist Tribe, which is really amazing. If you are interested in learning deeply about plants and plant medicine, please join us in the Confident Herbalist Tribe. It's incredibly jam-packed with content that's well researched. And guess what? I show up every week and we talk. So it's a nice group of people, and we talk herbs once a week. It's amazing. So I'll put a link below for you on that. And then I've got down here this book I wanted to share with you. I have a ton of herbal books, but if you're interested in learning more about herbal antibiotics, this one by Stephen Herod Buhner, who just passed away, which is so sad. I really just love this herbalist. But this is very well researched, and he did create a second edition before he passed. So be sure you get the updated second edition. There's a lot more information in here. And I just want to say, there's on Amazon, if you order from Amazon, there's another book that some lady wrote. I don't know who she is. I don't know, what kind of an herbalist she is or not. She wrote another book called Herbal Antibiotics too, and it looks an awful lot like this one. So please be sure that you get the one by Stephen Herod Buhner, because it's very, very easy to mess up and buy the wrong one. This is the one you want. I actually have both of them. I'm just going to say this is absolutely the one you want to have, okay? So be sure you get the one by Stephen Herod Buhner. I will put a link down below so you can pick this up and add it to your resource books for just in case, all right? And I am Heidi Villegas with Healing Harvest Homestead. I'm getting ready to sign off. I love you guys. I hope you found this interesting, and do start stocking your herbal apothecary with some natural herbal antibiotics that you can grow many of these yourself or forage for them. If not, you can purchase them, and maybe gather a few essential oils as well. Okay, I will talk to you in the next video. Please leave a comment if you have any questions, or if you have a topic that you would like me to do a video on, because I can't read minds and I just love to hear from you. All right, I'm going to sign off. Please like, subscribe, and share. I'd really appreciate that. Thank you. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.